Here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player himself, representando amantes de StarCraft. It is Impact. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player himself, representing Estral Esports. It is JimRising. Boy, I can see Kuro in the chat. It's not an exaggeration. He's a bodybuilder. Yeah, I guess I don't know if that's his official title, but pretty much. The Korean Impact is now a bodybuilder. Boy, oh boy, he looks good. Looking good, man. Looking good. Oof. Oh my god. Meanwhile, something very special is happening right now. We do see that Impact is going for a bit of a probe scout. He confirms that it is a pool first, by the way. It was a pooled gas opener, and JimRising was hiding his drone to still take his natural. Sneaky moves here by Jaime. You love to see it. But again, because it was a pool first, we are going to be seeing Lings pretty early on. Impact has to stick around not just to see the Lings, but also to confirm that there is not a Roach Warren. So far, the pool is about to finish up. We do have 3 in the gas mining at the moment. Again, this could be for Link speed, or it could be for a Roach Warren. Time will tell here. I imagine it's going to be for Roaches. There's no way that he Bane busts, right? There's no way. There's no way. That'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. As Link speed does commence here. Okay, so a couple of interesting things are happening. 1, Link speed is on the way. 2, Jim only made 4 Lings. With 4 Lings, you can't really break anything across the map. We do have a full wall off, by the way, so Impact is taking this very seriously, and this is scouted. Is this a full wall? I think there's enough room here for a unit, actually. But because there are only 4 Lings, they honestly can't do too much. But Jim didn't pull out of gas, so he isn't just working on Link speed. From here, he can throw down a Baneling Nest if he wants to. From here, he can throw down a Roach Warren if he wants to. What is the plan here with all this gas? That's what I want to know. Meanwhile, we have 4 more Lings on the way. Link speed is still not completed, but of course, because of the opener, like, he is going to get it faster than he otherwise should. And now the Adepts are coming out across the map. These Adepts shouldn't do too much damage. Like, they do have one-shot potential. He goes for Pneumatized Carapace? Drop-a-Lord? Is he going for Drop-a-Lords? What? But you need a lair, right? Oh my god, meanwhile, here we go. We do see a full surround here on 2 of these Adepts. Can he get one? Can he get one? Up, 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 up. Oh, barely does not get it. As Impact is able to slip away with his Adepts, he's going for his own Stargate opener. With this, he'll be able to shut down these Overlords, and Jim is he's actually expanding from here. So, based off of what we've seen, it looks like Jim opened up with a pool first and a gas first, just to get never mind. I was gonna say just to get map control, which is true, he did. And he's following it up with a Roach Warren. So he is going for a very quick roll. Oh my god. My head is in my hands right now. What am I watching? What am I watching right now? Jaime, what are you doing? So he's getting a second Roach Warren. Because he's getting a second Roach Warren, you could say that is he going to get double upgrades, but he doesn't have Borrow, and he doesn't have a lair. What is happening? I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Impact, he's going for a third base. He does get scattered, by the way, so JimRising does confirm the Stargate opener into an Oracle. Because it's an Oracle, it's going to be Ground Toss as a follow-up, so Roaches are going to do well for him. Meanwhile, the second Roach Warren finishes up, and it looks like it wasn't for double upgrades, and it even gets scattered. there's.
Glory to the day long.
It is the weekend. Maybe I should start drinking. I don't know. Alright. So, a little bit of a mistake there by JimRising to go for the second Roach Warren. The lair also feels late, especially because of how much gas we had early on. I thought he was going to try and hit a Roach timing with Glial, and he kind of is, but again, Glial is mistimed. We actually still don't see it on the way either. Oof. As we have a round of Adepts rocking up here, and unfortunately JimRising was being a little bit too greedy. Lings are here to try and meet them, but the Adepts shade into that main base. At the same time, Oracles are diving in as well. Roaches come out just in the nick of time. But not before losing 4 of these drones. 8 more Lings are on the way behind this, by the way, and 4 drones. So I'm getting some mixed signals from JimRising. He's making Lings to counterattack, but he's also making drones to catch back up in the economy. Jim is down when it comes to workers, by the way. This Roach push, it's pretty committed, and I don't know if there are enough Roaches. We have 11 Roaches, possibly 11 Ravagers, to be fair. I'll be honest, I don't think Jim can do anything with this. Like, he's not even hitting with +1. Alright, here we go. Roaches, they're here, they're rocking on up, but we have overcharge, we have shield batteries. Roaches are going to be able to focus down the shield battery though. Both shield batteries, but can they get more than this done though? They need to deal damage, they need to deal economic damage, and the answer is no. It's too early for this. Hydra then is thrown down, so he's going. It looks as if Jim wants to go Roach Hydra, maybe into Lurker, maybe. He's not that kind of player. Roach Hydra can do well, especially because we don't see any splash damage. But against Blink Stalkers, like, usually we want to see Roaches and Lings. Like, Hydras are just expensive. You know, they just cost a lot of money. Oh boy, we'll see. We'll see how this goes here. JimRising is working on his 4th base. He's working on +2. As soon as +1 is done, goes for a little bit of a Ling run by, but the wall is a wall. Impact just swats away those Lings, and now Impact is going to be the aggressor. It's been a long time coming. He has been kind of stuck at home for a while now. But we have Blink, we have +1. The Stalkers are moving out, and do we have enough at home to defend? We have a decent amount of Roaches. With the reinforcements, I do think that JimRising should be able to hold on, but he needs a little bit of time. The Hydras, they come out. And with the Hydras, with the Queens, with the Roaches, it looks like JimRising has more than enough to push this back. Pushing up the ramp is a little bit ambitious here. Oh boy. And there it is, Lurker Den is on the way. So Jim is looking to go into Hydra, Lurker, Viper, which is great against Groundhouse, and Impact himself has kind of waddled his way into this. Not the most ideal way to get into this stage of the game, especially because I just don't think he can really break through. But like 3-4 Roaches get picked off. JimRising not really paying too much attention to his army there. Meanwhile, no, he's gonna get baited in. No. Ooh, he does get baited. Half his army is now stuck in that stasis trap. Impact blinks on forward, and he's going to be able to take down all of these Hydras. Oh, most of the Hydras, sorry. Impact overextending here. Again, without a War Prism or without a Gateway, like, it's so difficult to reinforce. It's so difficult to gain the momentum that you need as a Protoss player. But maybe you don't need it, because with quadruple Oracle, he just vaporizes this mineral line. 6 drones go down. JimRising is struggling so much. Like, it pains me to look at the worker count, I'll be honest. Like, it should be reversed. Impact has 81 workers, and Jim is the one with less than that, with around 60, just now droning up. It's terrifying. He just doesn't have much of an economy. He has a lot of tech though. Like, he's working on a hive, and he already has the Lurker Den. So like, he's kind of working on the ideal army. It's just gonna take him a while to get there because of the low worker count. Oh boy, meanwhile, there's a massive Zealot run by here. Thankfully, JimRising was in position with his Roach Hydra. Ooh, does intercept the run by. The run by does nothing. But the Stalker army is pushing in as well, but there are lurkers. Lurkers do avoid that revelation. Stalker still finds some damage, you know, a couple of Overlords here and there, a couple of Roaches, a couple of stray units. As Impact is looking to transition into double Immortal. I think I favor JimRising in this position, not gonna lie. Because Immortals are okay against Lurkers, but they're not amazing. We still don't have Disruptors, we don't have Storm, we don't have Colossi. I think Hydra Lurker's okay. As long as we get enough of them. That is the question. So far, the Zealot run by gets intercepted once again. Here we go. 6 lurkers are on the way. Adaptive talents as well. Finally, the lurker upgrades that we have all been waiting for are coming out for Jim. And he is getting one of the most ideal armies against Groundhogs. And Impact is stuck with just Stalkers and Zealots and like 1 Immortal, 1 Archon. Like he isn't really set up for this. Oh god, the lurkers! Oh no, not like this. 1, 2, 3 lurkers, 4. Every single lurker gets picked off for free. And suddenly, what looked to be the ideal army for Jim is non-existent. The move command, the rally is real. JimRising just threw away every single one of his lurkers. He threw away his army just like that. There is no staying power. And Impact just shuts this down completely. Jim, no. Like Jim, his drone count finally hit 80, but it wasn't here for a very long time. He can't sustain these losses. He couldn't afford to lose 6 lurkers. Zealot Runway is going to be hitting the freshest base here of JimRising. The main army heads towards the top left as well. JimRising, his economy was already in shambles. He has been able to rebuild some of his lurkers, but again, look at that supply. It does not lie. Do we have detection? That's kind of the big question. There we go. The detection is on the way. Without detection, JimRising can hold on. You know, MasTeR's going to have a hard time breaking on through, but does it even matter? I don't think it does. Oh, we have the blink on forward as well. The observers are coming on in, but with the blinding clouds, JimRising is holding on. You know, he's down in supply, but he's holding. He's playing some StarCraft. How long can he really hold on for? This is what we wanted. Storm is on the way. Fleet Beacon is on the way for the Sky Toss transition. We already have 2 of these Stargates, so Impact is setting himself up to take to the skies, and we're not going to play it out. GG gets called. Impact takes the first game. Feels lurker, man. JimRising was looking fine. It was looking fine. And then all of his lurkers died. A critical mistake there for Jim. An interesting game as well. Yo, do you want to see the lurkers die? Here we go. Game casting. Look at the graph. Jim is purple, by the way. You can see the army supplies were neck and neck, and then bam! Jim loses the lurkers, he loses his roaches, his hydras, literally everything. Feels bad, man. It feels bad. If it wasn't for that, I'm sure Jim, he would have been okay. It would have been okay. You know, he would have been able to take a fight. Things would have been okay for him, but 'Twas not meant to be. It was not meant to be. Feels bad. Feels bad. But at the same time, there was also like a really like wonky opening. Like remember, he went pool gas into double Roach Warren. It was a bit of an odd one. So yeah, we'll see if JimRising goes for a similar opener and maybe is a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if you saw, but map 2 is going to be on Berlingrad. So a smaller map does lend a little bit more towards aggression. Would make something work. We shall see. As we are loading on in. Lobby has been made. The players are ready. And we are here to determine who makes it to the grand finals. Is it going to be our Zerg? Is it going to be our Protoss? It can only be one. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Protoss Hope himself representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is Impact. The Brazilian Protoss. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player representing Estral Esports. It is Jim. Oh my god. Rising. Going for an extractor trick. To go for an earlier hatchery. Interesting. Very fast hatchery. 15 hatch, by the way. A 15 hatch. JimRising, how does he afford this? He delayed his Overlord by going for the extractor trick. He does it again, by the way. Oh my god. Delays the Overlord, supply blocks himself to go into that fast hatchery. Because of this, he's able to bypass that probe. He can get it on location. And yeah, very fancy moves. Very fancy moves here by Jim. Meanwhile, from here, he's going into his spawning pool and gas, so he's not going to be delaying his gas for too much. I think there are some players that stay gasless a little bit longer here just to be a little bit greedier, but no, he does see and find value in gas, in his upgrades. And we'll see where we go from here. Yeah, I mean, I do expect Impact to go for, like, we've seen a couple of his PvZs today, and including the last game, like, he has been very fond of this commitment into Stalkers. JimRising having an awkward response to it. Oh god, it did feel as if, like, to be fair, it did feel as if, like, the Hydra switch didn't kill him, right? Like, it wasn't the tech that killed Jim, it was just his army positioning. So if he's able to avoid that from happening again, maybe he can make Lurkers work against Stalker Immortal. We'll see, as Jim is going for his third base as well. There we go on location. Impact wasn't there in time to stop him from throwing it down, but maybe he doesn't care too much, because back at home, he's going for his own tech, is going for that Stargate. And Impact has been mixing things up here. You know, there are some games where he's gone for Void Rays, or others where he's going for Adepts instead. Sorry, Adepts, what? For Oracles instead. If he goes Void Rays, that usually does lean towards an Adept opener, but it doesn't necessarily confirm it. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what Impact has in store for us on a smaller map like this. A map where the Zerg player can be more aggressive, where the Protoss player has to take that into account. You know, some of these third bases are looking a little bit exposed. They can be hard to hold on to. As the first Oracle is on the way, so it looks as if to be a triple Oracle opener once again. We've seen it time and time again. Has become very standard as of late. Very meta. Very meta. Impact doing his best hero impression. Let's go. Meanwhile, Jim dipped in with his Overlord, confirmed the Stargate. Didn't just see the Stargate, he also saw the first unit as it was being built. He saw the Oracle, so he's well aware that he has to be ready at home. Spores are already on the way in the main base. Queens are here at the natural as well. Ugh, a bit of an early spore here in the natural. Regardless, he has plenty of anti-air. That first Oracle shouldn't be dealing too much damage. And it's here at the third base, just making sure that any kind of Ling run by is cleaned up. We have a second Oracle on the way. We should be seeing a third. Yeah, just a little bit of a supply block. Oof. Not the biggest of deals. So triple Oracle into Twilight Council, into Blink. It's what we've been seeing, and this time a properly timed Forge for +1. Yo, Impact. His build is a little bit cleaner here, a little bit more crisp in game 2. Meanwhile, with the double Oracle, we can just one-shot workers, and there we go. He just dives on in, takes down 2 drones immediately, almost loses an Oracle in the process, but he keeps it alive. It can regen all of those shields, and some decent damage so far. We were talking about this in his previous series against the Zerg Lord. You need to keep these Oracles alive. These Oracles aren't just about scouting, they're not just about dealing damage, they're also about supporting your army against Lings. Pulsar beams are actually important. Oh, that's nice target fire. JimRising tries to get the weakened Oracle, but doesn't get it in the end. And yeah, we cannot afford to lose these Oracles too early on before we are able to trade, before we get some value for them. Meanwhile, Impact is getting that blink. We do have a couple more gates being thrown down as well. Just getting into, you know, what he knows, what he loves, what he's been good at, honestly. Oh, even supply blocks Jim a little bit here. Oh, the Laser Lords. 3 Overlords are on the way. Not like this, puppy. Not like this. No, another Overlord's gonna get out. 5 Overlords are on the way. Oh, God. 7 Overlords. 7 Overlords. My God. I've been there. Meanwhile, the Oracles dive in. No, the Queens don't have enough energy for transfuse. 1 Queen, 2 Queens go down. A 3rd Queen? Yo, he gets a 3rd Queen as well. These Oracles dealing more damage than they ever should. Oh my God. Jim, he had to make the Overlords. He had to make the Queens as well. This is not working out well for him. And behind this, he goes for a Hydra Den. I mean, okay. So Jim responded to these Blink Stalkers with Hydras in the previous game, and it almost worked for him, right? We saw him defend relatively well and survive until Lurkers. But we're on Berlingrad. You know, we went from the largest map to the smallest map, and because of that, I don't know if Jim can live. I don't know if he can survive until Lurkers. That's gonna be his goal. It's survive, get Lurkers out, then we can take a fight, then we can win a fight. Oh boy. Meanwhile, 6 more Overlords are on the... No, these supply blocks are so brutal. No. Meanwhile, the Roaches are going to be rocking up here, but they run into a wall of Stalkers. No, Roaches, you don't want to be fighting Stalkers like this. Not like this. Meanwhile, Lings go for a bit of a run by, but they force in a warp in back at home. The Lings do nothing. And Impact is just rotating around. Still has a terrifying Stalker force. 24 Stalkers in total. That's insane. Hydras are coming up, but again, Hydras are not ideal here. Oh, the Blinks are looking pretty good. The Oracle's looking pretty good as well. We have the Blink on forward. Every single Roach is going to go down. And the Hydras are trickling in, but mate, the Hydras again are not really what you want right now. We need Lings, puppy. We need Lings. And they're just trickling in. With good enough Blink Stalker Micro, it is going to be good enough. +1 range is not going to finish up. GG gets called, and Impact takes the series 2-0. GG. Jim, historically, has struggled against Protoss, specifically Skytoss. But we can see, even in current meta, he's struggling against this Swarm Toss or Blink Stalker Oracle style. I'll be honest, Hydras are not the answer. Hydras are not what you want. You need Lings and Roaches and Ravagers. That is what you want. The Zerg Lord understood this. The Zerg Lord had a better understanding of this, I feel. But even despite that, Impact is so good at transitioning and taking up. And if you remember in the first series of the night, Impact just teched up into Skytoss. He's like, you know what? I may not be able to break you, but I can tech up anyway. I can just defend and hold on to my bases. And GG gets cold. Impact moves on to the grand finals. And now we have our second series ready for us.